So why would you ever find yourself in the situation where you want to or need to fire a customer? Just happened to me. Let's go through it. It's the end of a pretty long work day. I've got this COVID hair going on, and I get home, I sit down on the computer, and I have yet another text message from a customer we've been making a small project for. It was 12 of these little metal frames. Of course, once the project got the go-ahead, it wasn't 12 anymore, it was 6. And we built them, sent them off to powder coat, and now I've been getting the, when are they gonna be done? When are they gonna be done? When are they gonna be done? Every day. I've told the customer multiple times, I've got nothing for you till I get these back from the powder coater. They're running a little bit weird right now since Oklahoma's going back down into quasi-lockdown. It is what it is. And when I got that text message today, the third one, 3 business days in a row, I just said, all right, we're done. The amount of time you spend dealing with a customer will wipe out any of your profit margin if you're actually accounting for the real value of your time of the job itself. And on top of that, the pure frustration of it will make you hate your job. It's not the sort of thing you want to do. You know, I'm out here in my happy place, walking around my fields, just annoyed. And I hate having to do this. This just happened. You know, ultimately this project was a $300 project that I would have made maybe $100 on when it was all said and done, after I paid Tommy, which I'm still gonna have to do, but it's worth it. After powder coat, after all of that, which I'm also still gonna have to pay for, but also still worth it. But the whole point is you need to approach this in a way that preserves everybody's dignity, self-respect, whatever else you want to call it. Yeah, so let's put you down right here. So ultimately what you're doing, and let's not beat around the bush, is you're burning a bridge, just like everybody's cliche advice is going to say. When you tell a customer your money is not good enough for me, or I'm not willing to do this project for you, that's a burnt bridge. And of course, when you're burning a bridge, you can do it a bunch of different ways, as my dad would say, and your mother dressed you weird. But let's not just, you know, go scorched earth. I guess the best way I could say this is you want to burn a bridge in a controlled demolition. Don't light any other relationships on fire. Don't make the customer angry. You're not trying to offend them. You're trying to have a very simple business discussion. It's no more, it doesn't have to be any more aggressive or confrontational than I can't do this project at this price for you would be. Except now it's I can't do this project for you. I was having a conversation with a friend of mine who I see a lot of myself in. Somebody who's trying to build a business and, you know, understands that it's going to be a lot of work and the beginning sucks and you're building something. Somebody that I really respect and am happy to see how they grow. That conversation, part of it was them asking me, when did you find or feel successful? What does success mean to you? And I thought about it for a minute. You know, of course, it's like my bills are paid. You know, I'm comfortable, I'm not scratching every week. But the thing that actually came to my mind was I felt successful when I could turn down work I didn't want to do because I didn't want to do it. When there was enough else going on, when my reputation had preceded me or my work had, to the point that people felt comfortable coming to me for projects, you know, that I was busy enough that I didn't have to worry about it. So, you know, until you're to that point, of course, firing a customer is going to be really difficult. I totally understand that. I've done some jobs for people that I hated. Early on, it was hard to turn down work, but it was easier just to, you know, give people a fuck you bid, which is bidding a job so high that anybody in their right mind would understand that you don't want it. And the other side of that is, if they do take that number, I guess it becomes worth doing. So I've definitely had some of those. We've had a good number of those. Best money I've ever made in one day was one of those jobs, actually. Of course, there's a plane going overhead. So how do you deal with this? This was part of this conversation I was having. I just got to do this in real life. My go-to line for people, and go-to, I think I've fired 4 or 5 customers over the years. It's not a lot. Most people are pretty easy to get along with. My go-to line is, best of luck with all your future endeavors. Unfortunately, I'm not going to be a part of them. And that is a super polite way of saying go for whatever euphemism you want to use here. Hey, remember that project? So another really good line to use, and I've used this is more for when a customer has unrealistic expectations, is just to say, it appears that your expectations, my availability, and your budget are not aligning in a manner that is going to allow us to complete this project for you. It's like firing an employee. Like, they should know they're getting fired, but they don't need to be personally offended by it. I go one step further, and I normally tell people exactly why I'm firing them. In this case, it was, this is another small business. And I said, look, you know as much as I do how much time going back and forth with customers takes up. And I can't service you as a customer anymore. That's just all there is going to be to it. This was a project that, like I said, I think at the end of the day, I would have made $100 on, maybe 125. And there were 52 text messages back and forth about this project. 52. Like, how long does it take to respond to a text? Maybe a minute, maybe 2, if you're actually having to write something out. So that's easily another hour put onto this project, a project that really should have just taken an hour to build. A little bit of customer time is always going to be part of a job, but this is crazy. And it was just unreasonable. I had to make a render for the customer, had to adapt it, had to answer questions over and over again. It was just time to pull the plug on this. And it's unfortunate. I've done work for them in the past, probably would have done work for them again in the future, but at a certain point, it's just not worth it. The headache has to not be worth it. This reminds me of another time, probably the first time I had to fire a customer. I had a customer I'd done a bunch of design work for, just doing computer files for them to have things laser cut. And then, the guy knew I was a welder. He bought a table or something like that. I can't remember now exactly. That was broken and had some little cracks. It was an old table, wanted the repairs done on them. I was more than happy to do it for him. At the time, my shop rate was $75 an hour. I told him it's probably right about 2 hours of work, so you're looking like $150. He wanted me to paint it. I told him that's not my thing, especially for something that has a look that you're going for. This stupid dog. Which was fine. He went and found a painter. This was emails back and forth, and you're gonna see, you're gonna notice that in life, these things almost always involve a lot of communication back and forth about really stupid stuff. This was, we're talking about a $150 job. If you need to shop a $150 job around, maybe custom work isn't the thing that you should be searching out. But he sent me an email saying I'm gonna have somebody else look at it, and I didn't care. Once he got my quote, he wanted somebody else to give him a quote on a $150 job. Eventually I get an email that says, I'm going to let you take a crack at this, and I'm going to be delivering it at like 7 o'clock tonight. This was like 4:30 in the afternoon. And I said, I remember this because it was just so flabbergasting that other people thought that my schedule was dictated by theirs. I told them, I said, I've already left for the day, and I'm not going to wait around till 7, which might mean 7:30 or 8, for a delivery on a project that's gonna take this long, or this short. If this was some big, huge projects, yeah, I'm a little more flexible. And the guy just lost it. Your business must be doing much better than mine if you can turn work down just because you don't want to stay at the shop. So I gave him the same line. Best of luck with all your future projects, but unfortunately I'm going to insist we're not a part of them. Oh, he's pissed. I get this sarcastic email in response. Whatever, you can go ahead and be upset if you want to be upset. I'm going to blur out a lot of this information, of course, just out of respect for past customers, even if they're not ones I want as future customers. It's just not the way to conduct yourself. A little bit later, I get an email, you're a piece of shit, I needed you, And that's when you realize that the more you do this, the more you're gonna get a sixth sense for what kind of customers you wanna be dealing with. And some of them are just It's just not worth it. When you're starting out, of course, I understand it. You're hungry. I was hungry. I did a lot of work I didn't want to do back in the day because I had bills to pay and I needed to have extra profit there to grow. I don't think you should ever get complacent, but the benefits of spending time at this and getting good at what you do is eventually you can not have to do stuff you don't want to do. In my world, if a customer balks at my price and I'm willing to play ball a little bit and I give them a new one, they balk at that, that's okay. I hope you do find somebody who will do the job for you at that rate, and maybe you're gonna get somebody who's undervaluing themselves and you're gonna get what you want for a lot less than you should have paid for it. Maybe you're gonna get what you wanna pay deserves. I don't know, but I don't wish you any ill will. I'm just not gonna be the one providing you with this service. As I talked about in the how to set your shop rate video, which is gonna be linked here, the rate you charge is the market's valuation on your time, and that's all the customer cares about. You know, if we're cliche economic models of selfish individuals, that's all that matters. But the reality is, you know, that money also has to value all the other crap that goes into running a business, the stress of dealing with customers. Less than a month ago, I had a customer call me at 1 o'clock in the morning on a Sunday to ask me how his project was going. And I answered the phone and I'm like, hey, it's 1 o'clock in the morning on a Sunday. I'm more than happy to answer this question in 36 hours for you, but right now, no. He goes, well, I got you on the phone, won't you answer it? No. And we finished the project, and the next time he wants a bid, it's gonna be a fuck you bid, because I'm not, if you disrespect my time that much, I'm not gonna stress on getting things done for you in that same way. No part of this should be interpreted as like shit all over your customers, treat people badly, get what you can get and run. That's not it. My best customers are repeat customers. My second best customers are generally ones referred to me by repeat customers. They're the people who value what I do, and I value their time. You never disrespect your customers. You've noticed that throughout this, I'm obviously upset with these people, but I haven't called them assholes. I haven't done anything like that. These are people who traded their time for money and then traded that money for my time. And even when you hate these people or can't stand them, respect that. You know, your reputation will precede you. Don't fire people you don't have to fire. I have multiple times sat down and said to a customer, hey, look, I can't do this for you this way. I understand if that means you need to find somebody else. If you would like for me to continue with this project or take this project on, it needs to fit within this box. And most people understand that you're saying, hey, here's my boundaries. Other stuff over there, get other people to do it. If you don't like it, if you want me to do it, it's gonna be done within this box of what I'm willing to do, what I'm comfortable doing. You know, let's treat each other like we all actually matter. It is hard. It's not easy to fire a customer. It doesn't feel good. It feels good for about 10 seconds when you're like, fuck it, I'm done with this. But after that, it doesn't feel good anymore. But it's something that you have to do, and it's something that you have to be comfortable or okay with doing when that time comes, because the old axiom of like 10% of your customers are gonna use up 80% of your time is surprisingly true. Most of that small window there are people who are willing to pay for your services, and that's fine. But some of them are not, and don't be afraid to stick up for yourselves. Until next time, guys, I hope you got something from this. I know it's a little bit of a one-off video, but this was just on the top of my head, and I felt like it was something that I should talk about because it's come up in multiple conversations with other people, which means that it's something other people are still struggling with or uncomfortable with. So yeah, there we go. Stick around, hit subscribe. Of course, I'd always appreciate the support over there on Patreon. The patrons have been amazing during this crazy last couple months, and you know, they're gonna look at this one first. Until next time, guys, thanks for stopping by.